sort of there. It's just they were never able to really dive it as much as I expect they really wanted to.
Yeah.
But now, though, Infernal Shrines going to be the second map of the day. Starting off with two quite large maps. We go to Cursed Hollow as our third map. I'm sensing shenanigans. But it's a standard choice. Very good. Maybe we'll see some Alex Strasser.
Yeah, we're going to see some Alex Strasser potentially. She's so strong on that battleground. You're completely right about that. It's also... Oh, by the way, for those of you who are wondering, all the maps are being reset for the playoffs. So no longer are we going to see any bans or any picks from the previous round. So we're going all the way through. Also, was I correct in not seeing any bans? Like all?
No, there were two bans.
Oh, there were two bans? Okay, that was my mistake.
Yes, it was Tomb the Spider Queen and Towers of Doom.
Okay, then it was my mistake. So...
It's all good.
It's all good. Coming in, TeamNut versus the A-Team. I also want to give a little bit of a toast to Seven Milk. I think, although he had his struggles in the early game because he was heavily focused by the enemy team and they were trying to gank him over and over again, like him on the Blaze, you know, I really like the strategy that TeamNut has for these games. Put him on a relatively safe hero. Blaze, you know, self-sustained, bunker as an escape. Yeah. Thrall before he played that as well. Is pretty mobile, pretty good self-sustain. So put him on those safe soul laners and your team is going to do just fine.
And remember what these teams are fighting for. Number one, get out of bottom two. Avoid that crucible position.
Yes, sir.
Number two, raise yourself as high in the table as possible because number three, if you make it to the top four, you will be going to the Eastern Clash. Number two, where you'll be joining such teams as Genji, Tempest, Ballistics, and then depending on how the playoffs goes, pretty close. It could be Miracle, could be Blossom. Who knows? Maybe Supernova will be able to sneak up if Supernova keep their position. Because right now, G-Luck could steal it away from them in the or even Fearless, I guess. Okay, G-Luck can't. G-Luck have played all their games. Never mind. I can't maths.
Yeah.
Oh no, they haven't. No, they haven't. They play against Fearless. So yeah, it's possible.
It's possible, and you brought up a very interesting topic to talk about, right? Who's going to make it to the Eastern Clash from the Korean side of things? Yeah. With Miracle, as you guys probably heard last weekend, taking down the big top dog Genji in a close 3-2. I think, like, Tetra and I were speculating a little bit before the stream started, and we were like, okay, so does that mean that Genji is now looking weaker than before, or does it mean that Miracle is just stronger? Is the Korean region now, you know, scaling evenly more, or is it still just a once-in-a-lifetime experience?
This is not the team that just dropped 0 maps all the way up to the mid-season brawl with Genji dropping against Miracle and dropping a map versus Tempest. That one's less surprising. Tempest will be quite good. But it is interesting, and they still play one more time, which is this coming Saturday. I had to do some maths there. Which is against Ballistics, so that could be very interesting. If Ballistics take them down, maybe Tempest will go through in first seed. In fact, I think they still might actually, because Tempest are undefeated. No, they are. They got defeated by Genji. I don't know. Maths is hard. But one of the more interesting matchups, which will be happening on the Friday, is the battle for what might be 4th place, depending on a preview of the playoffs, basically. Friday, our first game for HGC Korea is Miracle versus Blossom. Ooh. So I'm quite excited about that.
That is going to be so exciting. Blossom needs a clean victory here to improve their chances to make it to the Eastern Clash. And, you know, the power levels in Korea being somewhat unpredictable right now, what does that mean for China? That could be a big chance for them to actually maybe make an upset happen. You know, when Korea's in a little bit of turmoil and, as you said, the teams are not really at their prime, this is going to be such a big moment, such an important thing to have for China if they want to cause a little bit of an upset themselves. Right,
let's talk about this draft here. As TeamNut, they have gone for a Maiev comp. They have that Stukov, the immediate follow-up. For starters, thank God we swapped over to Saint Ukov, because that would be very confusing otherwise. As we do see the wonderful setup for the Warden's Cage into the Silence, and then what's the follow-up damage? You see for Dragon Arrow coming in for the just the extra CC, where they can try and burst down, or maybe we will see them go for a Dragon Strike build. We've seen China teams do it before, whereas the A-Team, this is a lot more standard, adding in a little bit of burst with that Grey Mane. They already had a great setup with the Jane and Malthael. Their execution potential is insane here, but I will not be surprised to see Bruiser go for a Tormented Souls because they have Go for the Throat as their finisher.
Exactly, you're totally right. And as long as we don't see a Dragon Strike on the side of Hanzo, I think TeamNut...
might, though.
They might, though, exactly. The Turiel, once again, seems to be the weapon of choice for TeamNut to hold that front line. It worked out pretty well last time. The Sanctification on top of the Maiev cage is actually going to make the pursuit and the team fighting even more lethal. And Tetcher, for the first time in a long while, we see Kaito on the Muradin and not on the Diablo. It was banned by their opponents.
Very sensible. You see, when you see someone on the opponent's team that is picking the exact same hero every single game, your first reaction should be, we should ban that, right? It's all they ever pick. So surely that means he's less practiced on other things. Like maybe he just considers it to be the best, in which case you should ban the thing the other person considers to be the best. It's still good.
Yeah. I fully agree with you, and I'm very happy that TeamNut did it, and I'm also very intrigued in seeing how Kaito is going to play in that Muradin. As we said earlier, Diablo Muradin seems to be the top two picks, at least in China, and you know, in most of the other regions as well. Those are considered to be the top two heroes in the front line right now. But I'm very excited to see this composition of TeamNut in action, because that also means, Tetcher, that they're probably going to break their own rule here of, you know, letting 7milk play these safe frontliners, these safe heroes, because he's probably going to end up on that Maiev, and that is quite the opposite of safe.
He's on your ult.
He's on your ult. There we go.
In the little preview, which is
that's good.
Also,
that's a safe one for sure.
He's great sustainy, but I don't consider it safe. Urel's usually the one who dives onto the backline. As we see jumping in here on the left-hand side, it is No on the Maiev, FS on Tyrael, 7milk on Urel, Oasis on Hanzo, and a Tui on Stukov. They are 1-0 up, and they are TeamNut.
Facing them is the A-Team, currently 0-1 down with Jaina on Jaina again. Olele is playing the Greymane, Bruiser on that Malthael again. Stukov is on the Alex Strasser, and Kaito now. For a long time coming, or it's been a while basically since he played a different warrior than the Diablo. All right, already we see a pretty aggressive build coming in for the Maiev, going for the tether build. So whenever she pulls 2 or more heroes together in one go, she's going to receive some damage bonus on it. So this basically tells you the kind of playstyle TeamNut is going for already. They want to basically get them all together, the members of A-Team that is, and then just unleash hellfire with so much AoE damage from Maiev, from the Hanzo, and the silence underneath with Stukov. Let's see if they can execute it properly.
So, the first level, 7milk has already dropped down to ridiculously low health. But you can see here just how punishing it can be the solo laner, as just eating hit after hit. Very hard to dodge with some of these abilities, especially the cocktail behind the wall here.
All right, yeah, cocktails. I mean, those were the good days of Greymane, right? Those were the days in which you were like, this hero is first pick material. This hero used to be so darn good. But I really like personally, I really like the spot of the Greymane as well right now. I mean, you're going to have to pick Greymane in a much more specialized way now as a burst assassin, for example, with a combo of the Jaina. This should be really nice.
Already, bottom Impaler camp being picked up by TeamNut, wanting to pile on some pressure. They're already running away from the minion wave, though, so they're actually going to lose experience here. That camp just going to push up the lane and get cleared out by Jaina pretty quickly. As we see mid getting cleared up, and they grab yet another Impaler camp, going for Mercenary XP as fast as possible. Yeah,
Mercenaries, of course, on this map, super important. Similar to Sky Temple, actually, the map that we saw earlier in that first game of this series. Super important to take these at the right time, but also it's important to keep an eye out here. Not FS, he doesn't have the Holy Ground just yet, but still he goes for that aggressive play. They find the Jaina and they take her down.
Very nice move. Very nearly got Saint Okov as well, but they get it killed off in exchange. It becomes a 2-for-1 as Oasis is actually getting chased down. Kaito going the beautiful Stormbolt. No in trouble though, as Bruiser putting on the pressure. He will get taken out as well. 3-for-1, the counter by the A-Team, completely punishing TeamNut for raiding their stuff.
Yeah, reckless engage in the early game. They're basically playing this like they already had a Holy Ground Turiel, right? With Turiel getting onto the platform even just a millisecond too late, because the mercenary camp had already gone over to the A-Team. But instead of retreating and be like, okay, this probably won't work out the way we wanted it to, they committed to this fight and they paid for it. 3 kills and the lost mercenary camp now for TeamNut. The A-Team is very strong in the early game, but guess what, Tetcher? That's exactly what happened last game too. And TeamNut, man, don't count them out just because they seem to have a little bit of a wonky early game.
Yeah, they were, like you said, behind in the first series. Now they were actually a little bit... They missed a little bit of minion XP, but overall, even with 3 kills, they're still about to hit level 6 only just after the A-Team.
Yeah.
This is fine. It's early game XP. They can absolutely recover this as they begin moving on to the point. In fact, they have a huge head start, 13-1.
Lele stands in the abundance, gets healed, very important. The Dragon Queen had already been used very early on. 21-4 skeletons right now. TeamNut on the retreat, though.
Beautiful Stormbolt. 7 Milk gets taken out.
Good.
Bruiser with that follow-up damage. No, comes in. Umbral Bind as Malthael just follows it up. Takes a lot of damage from it, though. But Abundance, once again, not enough this time. Sniped by Oasis. Beautiful angle that he's got here to try and drop all this harassment damage as they begin to move back onto the point. Still, 25-13. A lot were captured by the A-Team in this little gap. But health bars are a little low. Jaina, a little bit low on mana, begins to blast out the abilities onto FS to try and force it back. 29-22. This is actually doable by the A-Team, despite being a person, not a person down, still a person down because Malthael's still a little bit further out. Maya's on the way as well. Kaitu dropped low, forced to retreat again. Jada is completely oomed once again, forced to retreat, 32-39. And even with the arrival of Bruiser, the mana bars and the health bars of TeamNut are enough to steal away this Punisher.
Exactly, and you could really see the main problem there for the A-Team was Turiel. Jaina completely focused on the Turiel, used some of her abilities there to keep him at a distance, but as you said, that drained off her mana bar. Look at No, by the way, on that Maiev going in deep, followed up here by the Stuka of Silence. And I think the A-Team, they're struggling already to keep themselves sustained here. They're not going to be able to keep the enemy team at bay. Looks like they're going to do it for now, but not without losing 2 towers. In the end, though, I think this still could have gone much worse for the A-Team, right? If they had lost more members there, then the Punisher probably would have been able to do much more because of staggered dash timers, but the way they played it, true, they didn't get the objective, but they only lost 2 towers and no team members, so that was okay. But if they had played it a little more smartly before that, maybe go back, you know, take the healing fountain, and then return to the objective, they could have actually done it themselves.
That's not what they went for, unfortunately. Maybe they could adjust for the future objectives, but for now, the A-Team, they're still actually ahead in experience. Only a tiny bit. This seems to be the theme at TeamNut. Despite them winning fights, despite them winning objectives, they're not soaking XP as well. You can see here, they finally were able to like keep up here as Yrel was soaking XP when no one else was. They attempt to raid this camp. It's not going to be a full raid, it's going to be just a temporary little saying hello with Yrel not arriving in time for them to attempt the steal on their own camp. Yrel immediately moves back up, but XP still even. That Yrel split soak while that camp was happening was a pretty big deal.
That it was, and as you said, the A-Team, they're resilient, right? They lost this early objective, but guess what? On Infernal Shrines, the earlier Punishers, they are usually not worth fully committing over for, because all they normally get is a tower or 2, maybe the gate as well, but the forts normally, if you defend well as a 4-man unit, 5-man unit, they should be safe for sure. And already, if you take a look at some of the individual talent builds here, by the way, I like the, never mind, hold that thought, Bruiser here in trouble, surrounded by 2-3 members, and he doesn't make it out here. Now FS on a Turiel is in a little bit of trouble, though.
Tyrell's able to escape there. One angel goes down, the other one does not. The Soul Rend not enough for Tyrell, at least at this point. Both teams beginning to group up slightly nearer to the top of the map for the moment, as this is a push coming in from TeamNut, and the A-Team are going to want to react and maybe defend this. Jaina already in position. Wave is going to be cleared with the greatest of ease, but level 10 hit first for TeamNut. With that kill, they were actually able to get a Psy XP lead, and we do see the Dragon Strike. It's a Warden's Cage build. If you're going to do it, you might as well do it now, because otherwise, I am actually kind of with them on this one. Outside of Maiev resets, which are against a Muradin, what's your follow-up to the Warden's Cage? The answer in this case is the Dragon Strike. There's no unstoppables. There's no cleanse. The only way for anyone to get out of this Warden's Cage is the Malthael teleports and the Cleansing Flame, as Absorption has to be used. Ardent Defender by Yrel gets 7 milk out.
Beautiful. That was a 5-man gank. They fully committed to it. They didn't get the kill, so a little bit of time wasted. And on the flip side, though, for the A-Team, the Ardent Defender is now out. That's a pretty long, significant cooldown timer for TeamNut to be aware of. So, especially 7 milk on that Yrel, he's going to have to be so careful. Look at that sweet, sweet justice for all value there. And yeah, as you said, the Dragon Strike, you know, I was also a little worried when I saw the low DPS frontline, Irel and Tyrael, right? If you go for that wombo combo blow-up style with the Warden's Cage and the Sanctification on top, you might as well just pack every ounce of damage into that. That you can find, you know. So the Dragon Strike, although I'm not a fan per se, it could, and that's a big could though, still work out in that team fight as the Malcolm takes down Irel.
The one-man Warden's Cage, down goes Jaina, the Flaming Strike is used, Dragon Strike is used, and is not landing, as we see Hanzo being forced to back up, Cleansing Flame being used to keep the rest of Katie alive. It was basically Irel getting taken out while Jaina was getting just all in on by Ev here, making this a 1-for-1, 23-13 at the moment in favor of the A-Team, as we see TeamNut moving in once again. No, into the backline, looking for the good angle here. Preferably trying to get the drag onto Bruiser, does not land the Umbra Bind. Now in serious trouble, taking a lot of damage. Sanctification is dropped, but no, forced outside of it, barely teleports inside, as Kaito was giving a good distraction onto the backline, really preventing anyone else from going down.
Alright, Tetra, Irel is already back in the fray. Jaina needs a little longer there. She came back later and as such can't really rejoin the front line as quickly. But it looks like the A-Team, they've done it. They unlocked the Punisher right here in TeamNut. They're on the retreat. They realized if they had continued to fight here, the stuns and the damage coming in from the Punisher would have probably meant the end of them. So, good patient play there in the end. Look at that though, Malthael countering his Angel Brethren and executing Tyrael in great display.
Tyrael gets some trait value onto the Water Elemental here, but here comes the rest of the A-Team. They are a person up. They have a Punisher. They try to move forward, but TeamNut, very quick pullback towards their tier 2s.
Alright, this Punisher is still looking fairly healthy, sitting at 60-70% of its health, but it looks like even that is not enough for the A-Team to fully commit to this push. They could have maybe tried to get another tower or so, but they realized, you know what, instead, why don't we rotate towards the middle where an entire fort is ready for the taking, which could bring us ahead even more in experience. And basically, it's a deja vu, Tetcher. The early mid-game is all the one of Team A. Of the A-Team, but Team A, that's another way of saying it. But can TeamNut recuperate and can they come back here? That remains to be seen. Up to this point, I'm not very convinced. I'm gonna tell you this. The Dragon Strike completely whiffed. They need to make those abilities land.
I mean, the one-person Warden's Cage, if you're going to kill someone, Jade is a pretty good target. The other one would be Alexstrasza. But that does now mean, yeah, you've managed to get a quick blow-up onto one of the assassins. But now you have a dead heroic, because there's no way that you are going to land Dragon Strike without that Warden's Cage.
Yeah.
So you really do need to synergize them, and you really need to get big group ups of enemies. A 7 milk, is he going to have to on defender? Yes, he is. That's a big cooldown to burn. 100 seconds.
Yeah, you could really see that struggle within him, right? Oh, I don't want to use it. I don't want to waste the Ardent Defender again, but I also don't want to die again, so let's better be safe than sorry. But as you said, 90 seconds. That's such a long time.
He pulled out the Go for the Throat. Greymane did try to use that to execute him, and it was basically interrupted due to the Ardent Defender. So the cooldown trade in favor of Greymane, but he's still down a good execution tool as well.
True. That is definitely true. Like, the cooldown of going for the throat is definitely longer than the Cursed Bullet, so he's going to have to be a little more careful in how and when he's using it. Let's see. Icy Veins coming in for the Jaina, by the way, so more damage after activation here. I also wanted to highlight that the Pacify now coming in for Alexstrasza is going to be such a crucial defensive talent, right? If you plant that on the Maya, for example, you shut down so much of the combo reset value from her Q, from the Fan of Knives. Dragon Strike completely doing nothing once again.
Not landing, a little bit unlucky, but on the bright side, Stormbolt is finished. It is fully stacked here. As we see the A-Team attempting to raid into this fallen Shaman camp. Risky, but it could be a huge value play. Putting pressure onto that top lane with 2 mercenary camps would be so clutch.
Exactly. You brought up the timing there. Very well observed, actually, because now they have 2 fallen shamans pushing towards the enemy keep. And I don't agree with this move. I really think they should have actually pressured TeamNut a little bit more to maybe take down a tower or 2. But instead, they're trying to maybe catch someone on the rotation. Kaito already scouting it out. Looks like the rest of the A-Team is already rotating down towards the bottom. Instead, it's actually Stukov on the Alexstrasza getting pressured by Tyrael now.
Here comes those Cleansing Flames. The Warden's Cage used as a defensive tool. Go for the throat. Lele on the side, picking up the kill on Hanzo. Nice little execution play, and that Cleansing Flame was a big cooldown to burn, but it absolutely was worth it for that Hanzo kill, using it as a distraction.
Absolutely. Not only did it deal a little bit of additional damage onto the Hanzo, but it also kept Greymane safe and sound, who was already taking 4 damage. Now, Jaina needs to be careful. There was the Avatar of Vengeance from No. And if they get another kill, this might be a mighty fine objective for them. Irel actually earlier hadn't been able to fully get rid of the Fallen Shaman. It had still dealt a little bit of additional damage onto the top lane as well. Now, 16 around the corner. This is looking mighty good for the A-Team this time around. I don't think TeamNut is even going to try to contest that. So instead, they're trying to get value elsewhere on the map. Maybe open it up a little bit in the bottom. Open it up a little bit in the top lane as well. But look at the A-Team. They're not fully committing to the Shrine. They're taking a little bit of extra time to steal mercenaries in the territory of TeamNut.
They're certainly playing aggressive for it with those Impalers already on board. Camp clear, unfortunately. Hanzo, he's got that explosive arrow, but otherwise their mercenary camp clear is not very fast, as No moves in against Jaina. 1v1, this should be a pretty easy win for No, and with the help of Hanzo as well. They pick up the very well-timed kill on Jaina. This means they can defend as a 5v4 now, which is great news for them, especially as it's in their fort lane, although this might become a 4v4 as Ardent Defender, once again.
Holy ground. I like it.
Oh! Stormbolt, Kaito goes super deep. Not able to land it. Now he's in the silence. That's super bad news, but he's able to wait out the Umbral Bind.
Oh, beautiful dodge there as well by No, using, you know, the leap here by Maiev to block a little bit, the vault to block a little bit of damage there. 7Milk needs to be careful though. No more Ardent Defender. If he gets locked on by that Punisher and followed up on by the A-Team, could be the end. 5 versus 4 situation still though in favor of TeamNut.
Dragon Strike, once again, not getting too much value here as we see the keep going down. The Punisher, though, super low here. 3-man stunned by the Punisher, though. Great value. Last right, Sanctification. It's a big cooldown, but it's worth it. You do not want to be a person down when your enemy is literally outside your keep.
Exactly, and if they lost even just one person, even if it were just Ethereal, that could have actually been all the difference between AT retreating or continuing the push with double Impalers knocking on that keep already. So I think it was perfectly fine to burn the Sanctification there, but I cannot stress enough the importance of that Punisher landing that triple stun. It completely broke the rhythm, right? Ethereal was already trying to engage until he realized, oh, my backline is not following it up because they're stunned by the objective. So that almost backfired heavily onto TeamNut.
That was a very nice defense, though. They held themselves together. As long as the keep is alive, you are good. 7Milk takes a lot of damage. Ardent Defender is not off cooldown. It's got 8 seconds left. If she survive 8 seconds, Stukov is not so lucky. Olele again with the go for the throat. He is brutal on this Greymane. Gets another one. Looking for a third. There's Ardent Defender just off cooldown. But the slows are good. Pacify and last rights. Jaina, Malthael damage. Yrel taken out. Triple kill for the A-Team.
Triple kill, baby, indeed, for the A-Team. Malthael with a patient play there, waiting until the Ardent Defender came, or basically expired, and then with a dark, sinister grin, he executed Yrel very nicely done. The A-Team is really starting to look more focused and more concentrated than they were in Game 1. Not only do they still have a massive lead, they had this lead all the way through, and they are now playing it much more patiently to basically not make sure that they do not lose it. Level 20 is around the corner, so it would actually surprise me if they went ham onto the enemy team here at any given moment. By the same token, though, that's exactly what TeamNut want. They want to play it aggressively now, if possible, before the level 20 kicks in.
So, with only one mercenary camp available to be taken on the map, this is exactly where the A-Team head, towards their own Fallen Shaman camp. Put some counter pressure onto top lane and protect their own fort, as there is a Fallen Shaman camp of TeamNut already on the way up there. With a 2-level lead, the A-Team are just trying to find places to find XP. Mercenary camps are the places to do that. 2 Impaler camps have come up, one in the middle area, one in the bot lane. It's a good chance they might just leave Malthael on his own up here to try and clear this up, but they're actually going to bring Murden and Jaina up as well. Going to commit to this defense, and for good reason, because TeamNut have brought in the reinforcements.
That they did, and with that Tyrael shield, the Justice for All, it's basically making sure that those minions and those mercenaries can absorb way more fort shots, and you can really see how TeamNut is refusing to let go of this. Every ounce of experience matters for them if they want to catch up and hold.
It's sensible, pushing in. The A-Team, they rotate up and they're just like, do we want to do this? Nope, they don't have 20. They can give up a fort in exchange for level 20. They're going to send Greymane down to bot lane, going to grab this Impaler camp. Yes, their keep might take damage, but there's no way the TeamNut can actually dive them at this point. Unless they lose members. Nice little self-cleanse by Malthael here, keeping himself alive. Dragon Strike as a zoning tool to try and give them a chance to move on to the key, but they realize that it's getting no damage, no value here. They've ran out of time super fast, so they have to retreat because the A-Team, they're about to hit level 20.
Exactly. The A-Team, they were forced to basically commit to this defense, right? A fort you can let go after 18 minutes into the game. A keep, not so much. That's definitely an objective you want to be able to defend here as well. And TeamNut, I think they have one last chance to maybe hold this. This is going to be a push in the bottom lane. Now, I'm not exactly sure how healthy this bottom lane still is for TeamNut, but they should be okay with yet another lost Punisher, right? They can defend one more, I believe. If they just spend more time soaking in the top lane, in the middle lane, and try to get in as much experience as possible. And the A-Team, on the other hand, I'm not sure if they should fully commit to this. I think Kaito is just testing the waters. He's just trying to keep the enemy team at bay and interrupt, actually, the soaking process to the best of his ability.
Like you said, he's trying to stop rotations, and interrupting soak's a little bit harder here, as you are up against Tyrael. Ovele, in fact, even has to back up here. But it's level 19.5 versus 20, and now the Punisher is on the board. The minion wave is going to be timed pretty okay with the Punisher here, so the A-Team are going to be just moving in as 5. Malthael's already here, thanks to on a Pale Horse. They are literally just waiting out the Punisher at this point. In the meantime, Yrel got another wave of experience, and now it is 19 2/3 for TeamNut. This minion wave is going to be a fairly large amount of XP. They just need to, once again, survive, do as much damage to this Punisher as possible, because it's gonna get their keep. That is a foregone conclusion here. This keep will go down. Right now, this is about not dying, getting 20, and protecting that core.
So much damage coming in from the Blizzard by Jaina already. Tyrael is low. I'm not sure how much tanking he can still do. The Sanctification, of course, is still live, but they had a good pull towards the middle. 7 mil going in, trying to defend the core.
You're against the Greymane, you gotta make the play, you gotta do the engage. In comes Yrel, going in for the backline. Sanctification drops as Jaina just ice blocks, and Greymane ends the game. Dragon Strike comes out, gets a little bit of damage, but they dived on the one person with ice block, and the quick turnaround play. Greymane shreds through the core, and that is game number 2, going over to the A-Team.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the series is tied. The A-Team came